So welcome to the PRINCE2 pre-course videos, and this video is about the organisation theme, the people in a PRINCE2 project. So this is all about roles and responsibilities, and we'll look at the various elements of accountability and responsibility for the various roles within the project. As this is a theme, we'll see that organisation is used throughout the project. So right at the beginning, during startup, during initiation, and also considering it during the delivery stages. Now, a typical project organisation tends to look a bit like this, with a project sponsor, so-called, at the top, somebody who's going to be responsible for the money and the key decisions. Working for the sponsor is the project manager, who's going to be running the project day to day. And then there's the project team. And as such, a PRINCE2 project doesn't really shy away from this simple structure. However, we're going to add a little bit more to it in order to make it more effective. Now, before we look at the PRINCE2 project management team structure, there's a couple of things we need to think about. Firstly, it's going to be the project's interests. So we need to remember that the key interests on the project are based around the user's interest, the people who are going to use the project's products, and they'll be interested to make sure that they are going to work, that they're going to be suitable in the business environment and are going to work towards bringing those outcomes and benefits that we're looking for. We'll also need to consider the supplier interests. So they, of course, are going to have to build the products, and so they're going to be thinking about whether or not we can actually make the project's products. And lastly, the third interest is the business. So the business is, of course, interested in getting the project's products, but they need them to be cost effective. So they don't want to be spending more money than is necessary in order to get a suitable project product. Now, in a PRINCE2 project, we tend to look at things from a customer-supplier arrangement. So there's somebody who wants something, in this case the project's product, is willing to pay for it, and there is then on the other side a supplier to provide the products. So in this case, we'll see that the business and the user together become the customer. Now, they may be represented by different individuals, although they may not, but generally the business and the user roles work together as the customer. And on the other side, we have the suppliers. And that provides us then with our customer-supplier arrangement. In addition to our interests, we also have the different levels of management, and notice that we've got at the top there corporate and program. This is not part of our team structure, but is there to provide governance on the project board. So notice then that the other three levels, directing, managing and delivering, these are all part of our project management team. So let's translate those into our team structure, and here we see it at the top there, the project board, that's the directing level, interacting with corporate or program as necessary. They're going to be made up of the three areas of interest: executive looking after the business, the senior user looking after the user interests, and the senior supplier looking after the supplier interests. Notice that the senior user and the executive, the same colour here, that denotes that they are the customer. And we've got that customer-supplier arrangement. The project board, overall accountable for the project. Working for the executive predominantly, but for the project board in general, is the project manager. And the project manager is going to be running the project day to day on behalf of the project board. They're generally going to give the project manager the authority to run the project one stage at a time, as we will see in plans. Project manager then is the linchpin around which everything is managed day to day. In particular, those team managers who are going to be managing product delivery, so building the products in concert with the project manager coordinating all those different teams. So that's our kind of main chain of command, the executive, project manager, team managers. But we do have some other roles in addition which help this to be more effective. Firstly, we've got the project assurance. Project assurance is checking to make sure that the project is being run as we've agreed. And in general, the project manager will agree with the executive, the project board, to run the project in a certain way as described by the PID, the Project Initiation Documentation. So the project assurance will be checking to make sure that that's being carried out, and they may focus in on the areas of interest. So business area, user area, and the supplier area of interest. Another role which we're going to be using potentially is the change authority. So if a project is very busy and lots of change is expected, then we may put in a filter. So somebody between the project manager and the executive, so that they can deal with some of the smaller changes rather than continuously going to the project board. And lastly, we've got project support. This is in support of the project manager predominantly and is about administration mostly. So looking after logs and registers, planes, trains, hotels, etc., so that the project manager is able to focus on managing the project rather than dealing with all the paperwork. There may be circumstances where project support also interacts with team managers and potentially even with the project board. So this is our project management team structure. You'll see more of this once you get onto the course. And overall, this has been a look at organisation. Don't forget you can use this as a revision video once you get on your course in preparation for your exams. Thank you very much.